Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Cheryl and Peter, I welcome you today as we gather to remember, give thanks, and also honour the life of Betty Jean Euston, known to most of us here simply as Betty and Mama. My name is Peter Fry, and I thank Betty herself for wanting me to lead her service today. And we're here as a close group of family and friends, and we're here to support each other in our sadness, and especially to Cheryl and John and your family and Pete. We extend to you our sincerest thoughts of love, care and concern. And today, although we grieve Betty's death, we must also celebrate Betty's life, a life that touched ours in countless ways. And while our hearts ache with the heaviness of loss, don't let the shadow of death dim the brightness of Betty's existence. Instead, we can choose to cherish the memories and meaning, the laughter and the love she brought into our lives. And today, as memories are shared, it's going to bring back to all of you the times that you've spent with Betty. And for everyone here, those memories will be very different because you all had a special relationship with Betty. As a much-loved mother to Cheryl and Peter, as a mother-in-law to John, a grandmother to Kylie and Tim, Michael and Ebony, Stephen and Kelly, and Linda and Lara, as a great-grandma of Jaden, Dylan, James, Abby, Bella and India, as a loved member of the West and Euston families, and as a great friend to us all. And it's now my pleasure to share with you some of the family story of Betty. Grief is the price we pay for love. Queen Elizabeth II quoted those famous words, a person whose life was so different from my grandmother's, yet she lived through an identical world history to our own matriarch of the family, Betty Euston, or affectionately known as Mama by most that cherished her. She was born in June of 1927 to parents Thomas and Ethel West in Hamilton, New South Wales. Mama, her parents and 7 siblings lived in Taro, where she grew up on a dairy farm, completing early morning chores every day, which included milking the cows at 4 a.m. to her own disgruntlement, and before heading off to school at the Beresfield Primary School, then Maitland Girls High as a teenager. In her younger years, Mama worked in the Oak Butter Factory powder room before the fateful day when she met her true love, Kevin Euston, at the Max Picture Theatre in Hexham. The same love that would continue on for 64 years here on earth and now peacefully through eternity. And I believe it's Kevin's birthday today. It'll be a bit of a party tonight. Together they married in 1947, had 2 loving children, my mother Cheryl and my uncle Pete, respectively. The family lived on the main road in Hexham in a house next door to Grandad's parents, Mama having a wonderful relationship with them through their lives. Mama worked as a shop assistant in a corner shop in Raymond Terrace, but was truly a devoted mother and caretaker of her young family. They had greyhounds that raced, one in particular, Peter Ricky, who was quite successful, but just a regular house pet to them all. They also spent many years going on family holidays to Port Macquarie with other family and friends in their caravan. They loved to fish, and the breakwall was the perfect place for them to spend their days, and even some late nights trying to catch dinner. They would also play a lot of cards with everyone, in particular the game 500. Mama loved to be around family, never missing a birthday party or celebration, and was always remembering your anniversary, even if you couldn't remember your own. She would call to send her wishes and remind you. She had an incredible memory. I remember Saturday afternoons when the men were at the club, the women being my mama, her sister, mother-in-law, my mother, a neighbour, and whoever else that was there would be sitting around talking all afternoon, eating sweets, which she absolutely loved, and drinking tea. This would then move on to a game of Trivial Pursuit, which always ended in mama or mum winning and everyone else accusing them of memorising all the answers. She kept an immaculate home and could spot a piece of lint or crumb on the floor from a mile away, and she always dressed impeccably when she left the house, which she prided herself on. And if Grandad dared to dress himself and wear a pair of trousers without an iron pleat down the front of the legs, look out. So who was Mama? She was a massive Knights fan that hated Knights traitors. She had the biggest sweet tooth, loved doing puzzles, loved watching tipping point of an afternoon, crocheted many, many gorgeous blankets for the family, and she was a little superstitious, often kicking a knife away if she dropped it, only for Granddad to have to pick it up when he got home, all to avoid bad luck. What was she like? She was loving, caring, and thoughtful beyond belief. She had a whole school class, was respectful and never had an enemy. She never wanted to be a burden on anyone, even up until her final hours, and she certainly never was to anyone. I honestly believe she was one of the only people I truly have met that loved 100% unconditionally. In recent years, since Granddad's passing in 2011, at 84 years, Mama has spent many holidays with all the family on the waterfront at Soldiers Point, where she would sit looking out at the beautiful view, watching people walking on the beach and watching sailboats go by. She called the over 55s village at Taro home and lived with Peter, often sitting having breakfast together, checking the lotto numbers to see if they'd become millionaires. And when they didn't win, she would say those infamous words of hers, "Oh, bugger," which was used just as often as, "Oh, hell." The hardest part is the fact that she was just always there. I know she was never taken for granted. We can all just hope that we gave her the best life and care in return for the incredible moment she has given us all. And I thank Linda, is it, for getting that together? Well done. And it's our own memories of Betty that will keep her alive in our hearts. Our relationship with Betty will continue way beyond her death. So during the next song, just take a little bit of time in your own way to reflect and give thanks for her life. was a bit of a tearjerker, Cheryl. But I'll read for everyone the poem that you've chosen for today. It's called Never Forgotten. I think of things you used to say and all that you would do. At some point, every single day, my thoughts will turn to you. To lose you was a bitter wrench. The pain cut to my core. I cried until my tears ran out, and then I cried some more. This wouldn't be your wish for me, that I'd be ever sad. So I try to remind myself of happy times we had. I know I can't be with you now, and you can't be with me, but safe inside my heart you'll stay. That's where you'll always be. And before we farewell Betty's physical remains, as we must, I encourage you all to hold on to your memories of Betty, and she'll never be more than a thought away. While ever we live, Betty's legacy of love, kindness and wisdom will continue to brighten our lives. Her memory will be forever etched in our hearts, guiding us through the journey of life. And remembering those who feel Betty's death the most, Cheryl and John, Peter and all of Betty's massive family. May you be granted strength, wisdom and thanksgiving. Strength to bear your loss, wisdom to find meaning and purpose in the design of life, and most of all, thanksgiving for Betty's long and rich life. May forgiveness and acceptance lead us to a meaning in which all things are comprehended and hopefully great peace. And may those of you who knew Betty the most and loved her the most be comforted by divine compassion. May Betty's family find comfort in one another. Your sharp and deep sadness gives you an empathy beyond words, an empathy that gives you the strength and the assurance that you're not alone. Find comfort in everyone here who grieves with you. We all want to help, and we offer an ongoing compassion. And this is, I guess it's a favourite psalm of Betty's, and at her request, I'd like to read for you Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Another one of Betty's requests was keep it simple. So I think we'll close, and on behalf of Cheryl and Peter, thank you everyone for being here with them today, giving your support and honouring Betty's life. Please join with them after the service at the Hexham Bowling Club for refreshments, and please continue sharing the story of her life. Our service is now going to conclude with words of committal, and that'll be followed by Beyond the Sunset, during which the immediate family will place a flower with Betty as their symbol of farewell before they make their way from the chapel. And though our sorrow is great, we're glad that Betty's life filled our lives and enriched our world with thought and word, with love and laughter. Never forget Betty's friendly and kindly ways, as well as those few passions and concerns. May Betty live in God's embrace forever. It's never easy to say a final goodbye, but now we must. But also with true joy that Betty lived and loved, we leave her to the care of God's eternity. Betty, we thank you and are grateful for all that you have given to so many in your life, the love and commitment to your family, the times that's been shared, love, laughter, tears and many precious memories. Tenderly, reverently and with love, we commit Betty June Euston's body to be cremated and embraced in God's loving arms and to be reunited with her loving husband Kevin. May you have eternal peace of spirit, rest from your labours and peace at the last.